Before I share this information with you, I want to make something very clear. The data collected was from our own governmental agencies, and it is presented by Greg Palast. He is a forensic economist and statistical expert. He's done this election analysis work for our federal courts, as well as for elections around the world. Greg has written a lengthy article that you can find on his website. It's gregpalast.com. And also on a recent interview with Tom Hartman on his program, he was asked who won the recent 2024 election. Greg answered, "It's real simple. If not for vote suppression tactics, Kamala Harris would have won 3,565,000 votes, which is the number of voters that were denied the right to vote because they were purged, challenged, or they had their provisional ballot thrown out." So Greg had to wait to produce this report because he had to wait for the numbers post-election to come out from our government agencies, particularly the Elections Assistance Commission. And according to the EAC, there were 4,776,706 voters wrongly purged from the voter rolls. And what Greg reported on is that they were highly racially biased. In Wisconsin alone, almost every voter removed by the purge was either a black voter in Milwaukee or a student in Madison. This time around, we also saw vigilante voter challengers emerge, where states allowed citizens to challenge the validity of voters in their state, sometimes in the hundreds of thousands at a time. Just by early August, there were 317,000 voters challenged, and 200,000 voters were challenged in Georgia alone. 2.12 million mail-in ballots were challenged, and all of these numbers wouldn't mean anything if they were random, but they are not random. According to a study done by Washington State, you are 400% more likely to have your mail-in ballot rejected if you were black versus if you were white. The U.S. Civil Rights Commission found that you are 900% more likely to have your vote rejected if you were black versus white. Over 500,000 votes were, quote, spoiled or couldn't be read. For a person of color, the chance that you're given a provisional ballot was 300% higher than if you were white. And 1.2 million of those provisional votes were rejected. That's 43% of approximately 3 million provisional votes that were just thrown in the garbage. Greg found that young voters, and especially young women voters, were targeted for the purge of their votes. NPR reported that 1 in 7 mail-in ballots were tossed out, and again, our government numbers show that those mail-in ballots were 400% more likely to be tossed out if you were black versus if you were white. So Greg's bottom line here is that vote suppression gave Trump the win. Had it not been for the vote suppression tactics, Kamala would have won the popular vote with those 3,565,000 votes that were suppressed. She would have won the states of Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Georgia, and would have won the election with 286 electoral votes. Greg emphasized that massive numbers of young people and people of color lost their vote. Finally, Greg's warning to us is this: unless we restart a voting rights movement right now in the United States, our 2028 election is already decided. It'll be decided by the Jim Crow vote suppression rules, not the voters. And again, if you appreciate this information presented by Greg, please visit his website. It's gregpalast.com. The article is named "Trump Lost, Vote Suppression Won."